Welcome to my Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. Join Larissa and Malerie as they explore biohacking tips for women based on the latest science and research available today. Let them help you unlock your best self. It's time to hack smarter, not harder, together.
All right, welcome. This is a fun, interesting topic that we're going to talk about today. It is not something that came naturally to me. And so I really had to put on my learning hat and be a new learner to this. So today we get to talk about meditation and the practical and scientific backing for meditation and how it helps you reduce stress. It helps with your longevity and it helps with your fountain of youth.
Yeah, it's like a fountain of youth for your brain, right? Like we talk about, we always do all this stuff for our body and our skin and all these things, right? But what are we doing for our minds? It's huge.
And this one, it stacks on so many different things that you will be interesting. And there's so many different meditations you can do to reflect based on the need that you need, your body needs.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing about this research. I was way more interested in this than you.
All true. Very true words. That's why I said I'm putting on my learning hat and I'm giving it a whirl.
Right. And we both know that that's how it will be when we finally talk about acupuncture, because not interested in that one. But
which I could do that all day long. So we make a well-balanced pair.
We're pushing each other to grow, try new things. But it was interesting how many different types of meditation there are and how they can serve different purposes. So we're today, I think, just going to touch the surface about what meditation is and why this is something that's worth looking into, because it really can do so much for your body and for your mind. And so let's just start off with, what is meditation? What do you picture when we first talked about doing meditation?
I picture people like sit in a quiet, peace, serene area, crisscross applesauce, and like their hands on their knees or, maybe together. A very stereotypical meditation is what I picture when we talk about meditation, which was why when you brought it up, I was like, I don't have time to be serene.
Right. You also imagine it's going to take forever, right? Like you have to meditate for hours to achieve any sort of progress, I guess, but which is really not the case. And so it's so much more, you should think of it more like a workout for your mind. Like you go to the gym for your body, you meditate to work out your mind. And so it is basically a practice where you train your attention and your awareness to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm state. So it's not really about emptying your mind. That's a really big myth that's been going around, but it's about really like guiding your focus. And there's so many different types, right? There's mindfulness meditation, there's loving kindness meditation, there's even like movement-based walking meditation or transcendental meditation. I could go on all day. Like there's thousands of years of meditation practices, and there's so many out there. It's crazy.
And it's nice because there are so many different types. So whatever speaks to you and what you need is really what you can do. Because I'm not a big meditator, but even when I was trying to do this, then I was like, I can't concentrate on anything. So for me, I was really worried about that. But actually getting into it and doing it and trying it, that is actually very normal to drift and to do. And that's actually the process of meditation, is to bringing your thoughts back to your breathing and your body and your mind. And that's actually what calms it.
Right. Yeah. And really it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you're able to do it and the more benefit you get out of it. So it's just, again, another thing that we do to keep our minds sharp, and the science really backs it up. There's a study from Harvard in 2011, and it shows that meditation increases gray matter in the prefrontal cortex, which is basically the part of your brain that handles like focus and decision making. So it really is strengthening your brain, and it's basically upgrading the operating system is what it's doing, which is pretty dang cool, if you ask me, for something that's free, first of all.
Yeah.
It only takes just you and breathing in your mind.
And your patience.
And patience. But it doesn't take that much time. That is a myth. Like you don't have to do it like all day long,
I'm literally just kidding on that. That's what I thought before I tried it. And now that I've actually tried it, then I was like, I find myself at any time that I can squeeze it in, I will, because it is, once you get into the routine, it's very doable almost anywhere.
Yeah. Yep. That is so true. I was much more familiar because I've done meditation here and there. It started back when I was in college with my sister-in-law. We would go to a yoga class together, and they always finished the yoga class with just kind of like a short meditation at the very end. And it was my favorite part, Larissa, because it was so soothing. I really do feel like I felt the resilience and the stress management aspect of it, because it was just like going to this completely serene place.
Mm.
But I fell asleep every single time. So there was one point where my sister-in-law was like, "You were flat out snoring in class, Mallory." Like,
But do you know how relaxed you have to be to fall asleep in a public place?
in a room full of people? Yeah,
In a room full of
seriously.
people. Yeah.
But it was my favorite thing. And for the life of me, I couldn't stay awake, but I loved it so much because it was that kind of body awareness meditation, right? Where you're
Mm.
focusing on parts of your body and focusing on tensing and relaxing them, which is a lot like yoga nidra, I think, when we were doing the
Mhm.
research. And
Yeah.
anyway, I started there so long ago. I'm not going to say how many years ago, and have just kind of practiced here and there from that point. But I was mostly familiar with mindfulness meditation, and so learning about these other methods and how useful of tools they can be has been a really cool experience.
And I think they're perfect for women because women are constantly multitasking, trying to get work, job, husbands, family, careers, like all these things. And I think it's such a great way for women to ground themselves and center themselves on what is most important.
Yes. And not losing themselves in all of the chaos, right? Because a lot of what
Yes.
meditation is knowing yourself. And that's huge in a world where I feel like we get swept up and lost in expectations and the needs of others, especially in the holidays.
We talked about chronic stress, and I think this was an easy win for to help de-escalate the chronic stress that you felt. And
Yes.
so we talked about how the being mindfulness and meditation lowers cortisol levels significantly, and it really impacts your stress resiliency.
Yeah, that's what got us started on this road. I was talking about chronic stress, and this is one of the huge tools. And we were like, I've never really, it's again, like drink your water. It's like one of those things that you hear all the time, and you're like, sure, like exercise and eat healthy. Sure.
Why do thousands of people keep saying this? Why has this been around for thousands of years? Maybe I should
Right.
listen.
I guess I should actually pay attention to this.
I don't know what's best. Maybe I should learn something new.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
And I think too, 2003 study by Richard Davidson showed that that people who meditate had less reactivity to stress and more positive emotions. And I think that's key, because even
Yeah.
if it takes away the stress, it leaves you with more positive emotions, so you feel happier overall.
Absolutely. And when we found these studies and things, I immediately thought about when we talked about a gratitude practice, and how
Mm.
when we talk about habit stacking, right, to be able to work in a new habit that you want to build into your life, those are two ones that are amazing to stack together, because they're both going to help you have more positive thoughts and be more resilient against stress and negative thoughts. So if you're going to habit stack, do a little meditation when you're doing a gratitude journal, right? And see if that compounds the effects. That's something we could
Yeah.
try.
Yeah. Yep. And meditation can also lower your blood pressure, and it can improve your heart rate variability, which we're going to go into future episodes about. And
Yes.
so, very beneficial to your heart health. And heart disease is a top killer for women. So, this is major.
Yeah, when we covered that statistic in the stress episode, where we are like 40 to 50% more at risk for cardiovascular death, it's insane. Anything we can do to like combat that, we should be using those tools. All of
Yeah.
us women.
I did not see that coming. I assumed men, because I see men being more, I don't want to say type A, but like higher stress level,
Yeah.
but that's not true. It's women, because we hold it all in, and we hold down the fort to so many different people's lives, and
We do. And then just biologically,
impact.
like the process of like the changes we go through as we get into our
Yeah.
30s and 40s and 50s, right? That already is something that is like biologically puts us at a higher risk factor. And so, again, we need every tool at our disposal. Okay, so better stress management, happier emotions, healthier heart, less
Mm-hmm.
pain. That one I thought was
Oh,
interesting. A 2015 study in the Journal of Neuroscience found that mindfulness meditation reduced pain perception by 22%
oh
in some
man.
cases. Like,
And it's drug
that one
free.
surprised me.
So you're not putting chemicals into your body. Like if you can reduce your pain naturally,
Yeah.
like that is huge as far as all
Yeah.
the other parts of your body.
Yeah, it's like your brain just learns how to like dial down the pain receptors in your body. Like that's such a cool thing. That was a surprising learn for me.
Like a volume, I just need to turn down my pain. Thank you.
Yeah, like no, I don't feel like listening to this right now. Turn it down. Oh
Oh,
man, which
life
all
is
of this stuff really just shows the science behind meditation, right? Something that has been, like we said, a practice for thousands of years. It's so fascinating to see all of these studies just back it up, right?
yeah. Because biohacking is really the science. It's how we understand our body through science. So it gives you
Yeah.
tools to optimize your body and your mind. And meditation is just a top tier biohack because it directly tweaks your brain and your psychology for peak performance. And it helps you really understand your body and how to process it. So biohacking is really just understanding the body we have and rewire it to make it work for us.
Right. And using tools to help us
Mm-hmm.
optimize, right? And so
Yes.
meditation's a free, easy, ultimate biohack. So,
Yes.
and it does it in three major ways. So let's talk about that. The first is brain
Okay.
optimization, right? It boosts neuroplasticity. I cannot say that word.
Ooh, good job.
Right? This is your brain's ability to rewire itself, right? And so a 2014 study showed that just 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation increased connectivity in attention networks, which just basically means like sharper focus, better memory, and less brain fog, which is huge. So
Yeah.
that's perfect for combating all of those, that so many of those symptoms that we all face every day. Like mindfulness meditation can actually help.
So it's like your brain is on caffeine, but without the jitters.
Yeah, pretty much. Isn't that cool? That's why like sometimes there's some types of meditation like I can't remember which type it is that they say to do it in the morning at night because it actually
Oh,
energizes you in the morning
mm-hmm.
and then can help you like recap and wind down for the night. So or like have energy through the evening when you might flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it does.
There's definitely specific meditations that you do in the morning, midday, and at night depending on the outcome you want.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like we have so much more research to do in this. There's so many things I want to try. That's for sure.
One of the interesting things, speaking of the brain optimization, is when I was listening to the Huberman Lab, he was talking about the study that talked about wandering minds is an
Mm-hmm.
unhappy mind, and so basically the study it surveyed thousands of people and people they found the results of the study found that people who their mind wanders, like let's say you're at work and when you're doing something and then your mind wanders to your kids and, oh, what am I going to make for dinner? And like your mind wanders to 50 million different things, even if it's positive, even if it's happy thoughts that your mind wanders to instead of being present at the task at hand, people overall feel unhappy. So like
Mm.
just practicing meditation so that you can focus your mind on being present in the moment on whatever you choose to spend your life doing, like in that time frame, then it will make you overall feel happier just being present in the moment. And I thought that was so interesting because it's so easy for us to multitask immediately, like, oh, I have to make dinner, I have to stop at the store and
Yeah.
get this, I have to pick this kid up from this, and or my boss wants this, or like the other things that come into play when you are not on, you're listening to something else instead of being present in the moment, then you lose it. And then overall people feel less happy. And it goes back to like what our grandpa used to say, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Like it's almost like keep it
Right.
simple, and just keep your life like, like in true intentions, like when you're in the moment, be there, and overall you'll feel happier with it, which is the opposite
Yeah.
of what social media does, and all these blue screens and like all the influences we have currently.
That is so true. Like we need it now more than ever, just because of how much there's so much stimulation in our lives that like our brain doesn't get the chance to have that mental flexing and build that muscle because we're just constantly entertained and stimulated. And so I think it just makes meditation that much more valuable because you're actually mentally taking the time to, get that brain workout and maintain that neuroplasticity and, just keep that going despite our environment.
When he was talking about that study, it literally rechanged the way I thought about meditation. Instead of it being like, oh, that's a foo-foo thing, to like, oh, this is something that like I really, because I wonder, my brain wanders a lot. And so like I was like, I really need to focus in on that and practice that skill so that I can build that flexibility in my brain.
It's a very real tool. I mean, we've only talked about one of the things. The second thing is stress resilience. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest mode, right? We talked about this. This counters the fight or flight response. So this is a spot that it's getting increasingly hard for us to get into the parasympathetic nervous state because life is so stressful. There's so many stressors. And if we're not managing, if we have maladaptive stress, right, that's causing undue stress on us, then we're stuck in fight or flight and we can't get into the rest and digest. And so meditation, like let's see, a 2017 study in brain and behavior found meditators had better heart rate variability, meaning that their bodies handled stress like champs. And it's because actively switching into the parasympathetic state gives you the rest and digest that your body needs to be able to handle stress better. That's how you build the resilience.
That is so interesting. Just with with what we're doing with the HRV right now, I get totally into that. And I'm like, oh, now I have my beginner baseline, so it's going to be interesting to keep the meditation going to see if I can get even higher and higher on my HRVs.
Yep. That is so true.
So our third major influence with meditation is longevity, which is something that we all want to hear. We want to age gracefully, but still be able to do all the things that we want to do because there's a lot to do in this amazing world. And so meditation helps slow aging at the cellular level. And the research from 2019 in the psychosomatic medicine linked mindfulness practices to longer telomeres. Is that how you say it? Telomeres? Yep. And those are the protective caps on your DNA that shorten with age. So longer telomeres mean better health cell and potentially a longer, healthier life.
This one was one that the more I looked into telomeres, because I was like, what the crap are telomeres? But shortened telomeres causes so many issues on a cellular level. That just opens the door to basically your DNA, like, what's the word where they like the fibers start to like separate? I forgot. But anyway, it opens the door to so many other inflammatory issues and diseases and crazy things that significantly speed up aging in a very scary way. And so anything that we can do to lengthen those telomeres, keep the protective end caps on your DNA strands, like that's huge for just maintaining vitality of life.
And so it's like the fountain of youth. So if we can keep that on and keep it as long as possible, the DNA, then we will feel and look younger.
Yeah, which is amazing. Who knew? I mean, I guess we should have known. Meditation's been around forever, but it's like, I don't know.
You don't need Botox. You don't need $1 million of supplements. All you need to do is take the time to meditate and you will you will feel and look younger.
Yeah, there's like all of these studies are backing it all up. The more we research this, the more I'm convinced. So, okay. So I think we actually have some great questions from the community this week, which we love hearing from the community. And let's dive right in. First up from Sarah, I try to meditate, but my mind keeps wandering. Am I doing it wrong?
And the answer is no. Love yourself with grace. Yeah. Think of it as like you're training a puppy. Every time your mind runs off or every time the puppy runs away, you're just going to call it back with kindness and you're just going to refocus your brain and get back to focusing on the breathing or the technique that you are trying to work on. So it is very normal to have your mind wander. And that's actually part of meditation, because if it never wandered, you would not have that to practice and build that elasticity in your brain. So you have to have that to practice.
It's the mental push-up, right? Like that's the mental push-up you're doing. Yeah. And it's part of it. And so much of meditation is and especially mindful meditation, right, is to let your brain have the thoughts, and you observe them with no judgment, or you observe them with love. And then the practice, the mental push-up, is to then move on to a focus, right? Where you're calling your brain back. You're releasing the thoughts and letting them go. It's all part of the practice. So that's all very normal.
Yep. It's very interesting. All right, our next question is, how do I find time to meditate with a toddler and a full-time job? And you can have this one, Malerie, since you are literally living it every day.
Yes, it is definitely challenging, but the biggest myth about meditation is that you need it to set aside, 30 minutes, an hour, whereas really even micro meditations, which can be like 1 to 2 minute bursts, can have just as much of a benefit to you, because it's really about consistency over, perfection, right? And so, if you try 1 to 2 minute bursts, for example, like while your toddler's napping, or specifically on an activity that doesn't require your immediate attention, like you just take those moments, you sit down and you close your eyes and you just focus on like box breathing. Also, like walking meditation while pushing a stroller. That's another one that I do very regularly, where you're walking and you're just noticing the rhythm of your steps or the rate of your breath, right? Like focusing on your breath while you're walking. There's so many things that you can do in just a few short moments. And studies show that 5-minute mindfulness practices reduce stress as effectively as longer ones for busy people. So sneak it in whenever you can.
Because it all matters. It all helps.
Yep. Okay, next one. Which type of meditation is best for anxiety?
For anxiety, mindfulness meditation and loving, like what you were saying earlier, loving kindness meditation are very effective. And mindfulness helps you observe your anxious feelings and without getting swept away in them. So you acknowledge that they're there, they're present. And so you don't disregard them, but you just acknowledge that they're there and they're present, and then let them move on. But it's doing it in a loving, kind way that builds positive emotions about the stress or the anxiousness, so that you know that it is a part of you and it's a real thing that you want to love.
Yeah.
There is a JAMA, J-A-M-A, internal medicine found mindfulness-based programs cut anxiety symptoms up to 38%, which is huge.
That's huge for sure.
That is a very high thing. So it would be very, very helpful for you to do a mindful based program. And there's so many out there. There's so many apps like Calm, and that's the one I use. So that's supposed to stick in my mind. There's tons of apps out there.
What do you use?
Calm, Calmn.
I did love Calm. I'm trying Waking Up right now, and I really like that one because it's a little bit more instructional about building, like that you have like a beginner course where you kind of like, they kind of guide you through building a meditation practice. But Calm I loved too. And I really loved their music and stuff for kind of like self-guided meditation.
I would like more input on how to do it, because then I think that might make me feel like the various forms, because when I was listening to Dr. Huberman, he was saying that there's two types of people, how they perceive information. So there's a type of person who a lot of the times, if you receive recurring things, if you're stuck in your mind over and over and over again, that you get distracted by your mind. And then there's people who are extroceptive, where you can get distracted by, there's a bird that flew by, or the car, or the wind blew and you heard the leaf, and you get distracted by the extra outside.
Right.
And so he was saying to build your brain elasticity is you do the opposite of whatever you normally do. Like I'm definitely more in my mind, like my mind can go 90 miles an hour and 100 different directions. And so for me, like I said, to do the opposite. So I would need to do focused on extra outside of myself. So I would look at something at a distance and, do that same, meditation, but with something outside of myself. Whereas if people get distracted by the outside world,
meditation,
then they need to practice something mentally, where listening to their body and their breaths and stuff internally. Isn't that interesting? I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very like externally focused. Like I definitely get distracted by things around me.
Whereas like
versus like internal, right?
I'm so inside my mind, I can have literally the whole world can die around me and then be like, you didn't see that? You didn't notice that? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just solved all the world problems inside my head right now. And I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, 3 of us were having a conversation in here. I wasn't paying attention.
So it's pretty funny. And so, but I think that was important for all of us to hear, is that whatever type you are, it's great. It's not like one is better than the other. It's just to really build your brain elasticity. You really do need to do the opposite of whatever you are.
I do love that, because it also, you're right, it's like mentally forging new paths in your brain, right? Like improving the neuroplasticity. So it makes sense that it's applicable in meditation too.
Yeah.
I think that they call it the concept of awe. There's a book about it, where getting out there and doing new things and trying different things outside of your normal intentionally to create joy and more vitality of life, to feel more alive. It's the same sort of concept.
That's what they said about stress. To help lower stress, you got to do something that you love and that you're passionate about.
That's
Bring joy into your
true.
life.
Yep. Okay, last question. Can meditation really help with sleep? I'm struggling with insomnia. The answer is yes. This is a huge game changer for sleep.
Since you just did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I just literally just talked about the yoga nidra, right? Where it like the body scan is like the number one recommended way. And all of my sleep markers, because I track my sleep, went up. So, and I haven't been able to get like enough deep sleep for a while. I've been trying to figure out why I'm not getting enough deep sleep. And man, last night it was 25%. I got like 2 hours. It was awesome. Now, I don't know if it was just the yoga nidra, right? But it definitely helped.
I know. I was going to say, I wouldn't mind trying to. I'm a very good sleeper, so it's not like I need a lot. My aura ring tells me that I'm a very efficient sleeper, and but it would be interesting to try just to compare the difference.
Yeah, seriously. I'm just experimenting, right? I'm trying to get my HRV improved, which it did. So that was good. But like when we even look at the science on this, right? There was a 2015 study that found that mindfulness meditation improved sleep quality in adults with insomnia, even better than some of the sleep hygiene programs they were recommending at the time. So just give, a 10-minute body scan or guided sleep meditation a try. Again, we talked about the apps, but the yoga nidra was huge for that. So I just found a YouTube video is what I used.
I was just going to say that. I was like, you can even go on YouTube and there's lots of them for free, but it is kind of nice on the app for us. It tracks it and has different options. So depending on the mood you feel like, so it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and you could do it without an app and just do it yourself. But it is nice especially when you're first starting, to have the app that will walk you through it, so that you're like, okay, am I doing this? Am I really meditating, or am I just laying here?
Yep. That's very true. I really like the guided meditations, because I feel like even though I've been trying it off and on for years, I still feel like a beginner, right? Because I haven't done like a dedicated, consistent practice. And I think my big takeaway on this was consistency is key, much like everything else. I mean, I feel like that's what we say every time. So,
but this one is an easy one that you could do the micro sessions, like you were saying, and do a quick minute here, 2 minutes here, and throughout the day. And then I think overall your stress and your overall feeling of, the health benefits of that would increase.
Yep. I think so. Okay, I think it's been a fun first dive into meditation. I feel like my goal is to try to build a consistent practice, and then I want to revisit this because I want to talk about growth and how it feels, right? And come at it from a more experienced point of view. But let's wrap up with just our 3 key takeaways just to help you start meditating and boost your health. The first one is takeaway 1 is start small and simple. Like we said, you don't need to meditate for an hour. Try 5 minutes a day. Focus on your breath or use a guided app. Consistency beats perfection, of course. And research shows even brief daily practices rewire your brain for calm and focus.
And then our second takeaway is that meditation is a biohack for your body and your mind. So it lowers your stress hormones, it boosts brain power, and it may even slow aging, which we all love. So pick a style that fits your goals, because there's a variation, and be mindful about it. And your mindfulness for stress, for loving kindness, for positivity, for your body scan, or even for your sleep.
This is a huge one too, guys. I mean, how often do we get to bring free ones to your attention to consider? They're my favorites.
Me too.
And takeaway 3, make it yours. Meditation is flexible. Do it in the car, during a coffee break, when you're running around with your kids. Use apps, guided videos, just your breath, pure silence, sounds of nature, beautiful music. Just find what feels good and make it a habit for you. You are worth those few minutes every day.
Yes, and you cannot say that enough. You are worth it. You are worth it. You are worth it.
Absolutely. It's not just self-care, it's self-empowerment, and you're investing in a healthier and happier you. So, like, just listen to us, guys. We know what we're talking about.
And your family will thank you.
Yes, and you will thank yourself. So give this one a try. Let us know what you think. We are super excited to give it a try. There's a couple of different things I want to try. What's the other one that started with a T? It was transcendental meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Transcendental meditation. That's the one that I want to give a try, because that one's more of like a focused, like repeating a mantra as you meditate, and it's kind of like twice a day. So it's like 15 minutes at a time. You do it in the morning and you do it in the evening. That's one that like can give you like more energy, right? So I really, that's my goal. Taking away from this episode is I want to learn how to do that more structured meditation, and then just keep growing from there.
My goal is definitely to start doing it daily. Like, I have different hacks while I'll do it when I do certain things like acupuncture. Like,
yes,
but I need to do it. I want to just start doing the micro more
consistently, right? And
yeah,
because you only do acupuncture like once a week.
Yes, I want to do it more consistently, and the car is my safe spot, so I'll probably be doing it in the car.
That's a good idea.
When I'm doing drop-offs and pickups. And when I do it every once in a while when I'm thinking about it, but I would like to do it more consistently.
But anyway, I think that's a big thing for sure. All right. I think that's all we've got for you. Be sure to join our community, My Wellness Rewired, and be sure to like and subscribe on all the places where there are podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and give us a shout out on any of our social medias. Thanks, guys. All right, you wellness rock stars. That's a wrap on this episode of My Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. We've had a blast dishing out the hacks and laughs, but hold up. Let's keep it real.
Yep, we are not doctors. We are just sharing our biohacking adventures and learning right alongside you. Nothing we say is medical advice, so always, always check with your healthcare provider before trying any new wellness tricks.
Absolutely. This podcast is all about inspiration and entertainment, not prescriptions. So join our Facebook group for more sassy wellness vibes. Catch you next time.